Okay. So, in coaching yourself into increased productivity, this is the perfect time of the year to talk about implementing to train your mind. It's the beginning of
Right.
the year.
Yeah.
Everybody's creating new goals, new you, new me, new year.
Right.
So, what's one easy step that people can create a plan with and maybe stick to?
Yeah. So the thing I would suggest to people is that most people start too big. Okay. I'm going to change my complete diet. I'm going to eat healthy. Well, that's pretty big. It's kind of overwhelming. So why not just say, you know what? For one meal, I'm going to add a salad in. That's one small thing. The other thing is that people go back to what they're comfortable with.
Right.
So I would suggest, if you're looking for one thing to do, is to do one thing each day that makes you uncomfortable. Not major, but for me, it was talking to people in elevators. I would never talk to people in elevators. So my goal was, each time I was in an elevator, was to talk to someone.
Right.
And then I became comfortable with that. And then it helped me become comfortable with the uncomfortable.
So you have moments of baby steps, basically. You're starting with
Yes.
each little step, and then as you maybe get more comfortable, you're starting to take strides.
Yeah.
Right? Is that kind
Imagine
of?
if you did one small thing each day of the year compared to this huge goal. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, what's one hindrance you see that prevents people from sticking to their healthy plan or their goals? Because sometimes we're off with the horses, at the beginning,
Right.
and we're doing so well, and then you fall off.
Right.
So what is that kind of causes us to go in a different direction?
I think there's many things. But something to consider is that it's that comfort level. So I think we go back towards what's comfortable. But the other thing too is that people are not kind to themselves. So if we mess up that one day,
Yeah.
That's it, I'm done. It was the all or nothing. So it's when you make a plan, a goal is to also make a commitment to yourself that you're going to be kind, that you will mess up. There will be that one day that you don't feel like exercising.
Right.
That's okay. So just for today, I'm going to exercise. It doesn't mean tomorrow, but just for today. And then the next day, you know what? I'll exercise for today. I'm not promising tomorrow, but today. So yeah.
So being kind to yourself, really.
Yes.
Learning to accept that you're not going to be perfect all the
Right.
time.
Yeah, I used to beat myself up over these things, and it didn't change the behavior.
Right.
So I guess let's be kind to ourselves.
Let's be kind to ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, in your book, Creating the Life of Your Dreams, you write about different exercises a person can do, especially one who is feeling stuck
Right.
in maybe their current life situation or in a problem or, just something that they can't figure out. So what's one example of those suggested exercises that you recommend?
Great question. I think we've all felt stuck too, right?
Yes.
One suggestion I would have is to, if you could not fail, what would you be doing? And I would just bullet point those things. Now with this, that internal guard's going to come up and say, but you can't do that. Put him aside and just write down, if you could not fail, what would you be doing? The other thing, I know you asked me for one, but
Yeah.
you're getting a bonus. Two.
Do it.
So is that, think of the people you're jealous of. Think of all the people you're jealous of. Write down what they have that you don't. Because usually we're jealous of people we know we can be doing what they're doing, we're just too scared. So that gives me a hint of, you know what, I actually would like to be doing that over there. So, yeah.
And it's almost like you just need to take the leap of faith. When you see somebody that's doing something you could do or you want to be doing, it's the starting point that hasn't taken place, right? You haven't.
Yeah, well, it's giving yourself
done.
permission to actually start exploring it. So I think that jumping off, I would say don't jump off. There's most people that scares people if you jump off.
Right.
But it's just take that one, being open to, maybe I would like that. So, yeah.
So let's talk about a healthier work-life balance. You do talk about this in one of your sessions.
Yes.
So, what does that look like? How can people really generate that healthy work-life balance?
It is so hard today. Because information is coming at us so quickly. We have so many stimuli. I mean, it used to be with mail that we'd mail something out. It would take 2 or 3 days to get to the person, take 2 or 3 days to get back. And now within 5 seconds, I can have a reply. And so I feel like I need to keep doing more and more. Mm-hmm. So I think that today we need to be really aware of building those stop gaps in our schedule, which is being kind to ourselves.
Right.
Okay. I think also people are addicted to being busy. That the more I do, the better I feel about myself, and it's not always quantity, it's the quality.
Right.
So what do? I meditate. And most people are like, oh no, not meditation. But What I think of meditation is just taking a couple days, a couple minutes, not days, couple minutes, and
Really
just breathing.
contemplate for those days.
Exactly. Well, that would be great, a couple days, but
Yeah.
a couple minutes just to stop and to breathe. Imagine that. And then just kind of breathing, in and out, and it slows everything down and reminds us to slow down. So that's what I would do.
Really just take your time, really think thoroughly about
Yeah.
what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, and the last thing is, review your priorities. So are you putting the energy towards the priorities that are highest to you? So, yeah.
Okay. Now you design and conduct workshops that deal with specific obstacles people experience, that affect both their personal and their business life. So provide us with some insight on how these workshops are set up and how, the duration of them and how they're executed.
Yeah, great question. So these workshops, they can be anywhere from a couple hours to sometimes 2-day sessions. So I really look at the education level of my audience, as in where are they at with the content? Is this just presenting the information? So that means that we need to really give them experiences, first experiences with things. Or are they experts and they need more refining? So that really determines kind of the format of these sessions.
Okay.
But what I really try to do is, an example is for public speaking. I'm hired a lot to teach public speaking, and most people are scared of it, right?
Right.
But they can talk to one other person. So an exercise I do is I have people talk to one person and tell them a story.
Okay.
Then I put them in groups of 4, and they have to tell the story. And
The same story?
Exactly, the same
Okay,
story,
okay.
and debrief of what is different. And it's
Right.
usually in our mind. That's what's different. Yes, there are more people, but it's, oh no, there's more people. And then we put them in groups of 10, and then finally they're talking in groups of 50, up to that point. The whole time saying there's not a lot of difference. You're just talking to the person right there. So
Right.
that's an example.
It's the getting out of your head part, right, that I think is the most difficult for everybody, because
Right.
it's like, oh, there's now 10 people, there's now 40 people.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
like that you speak to that.
So, and in this workshop, we acknowledge that. We let them debrief about it and then give them exercises to move through that obstacle. So, yeah.
Okay. And what do you think is one of the biggest reasons people struggle with that work-life balance? What do they not allow themselves to do?
I think it's kind of like a broken record, the being kind to themselves, giving themselves a break. I bet you're working harder and better than you think you are. Right. So I think that if we give ourselves a break, that we naturally will want to take care of ourselves, and we start, the balance starts.
I love that. Now, I did have a comment here from our live audience.
Great.
Somebody mentioned, let me see. Ooh, we've had a couple of people chiming in here. So, New Year's. Okay, so Emily Reed said that her goal for the new year, and just in terms of small steps, is to call someone that she's not spoken to in a while every other week. So even something as simple as that, right, can kind of
Yeah.
change the way your brain thinks about goals and executing
Yes.
them.
Yes, I love that. And it's small enough, so I believe that she'll definitely be successful. And I also, the next part of that is the accountability. So I wonder if she has an accountability partner that she can check in with and say, I did this.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Emily, do you have an accountability partner?
Emily.
Chime in with us on the live chat so we can hear about it. But that's fantastic. I love everything that, all of the advice that you've given. And I know that our viewers definitely take away from all of your recommendations, your suggestions, your life lessons, really. So thank you so much, Robert,
you.
for your time.
Thank you.
Have an excellent time at Convening Leaders.
It's great.